Millions of us start our day with a dark, caffeinated brew. Grab a bag of crispy potato chips at lunch, and end the warm evening with a frozen dessert. These items are so deeply embedded in our daily routines that they feel permanent. It is easy to assume these global staples are the result of rigorous engineering. We picture culinary professionals in pristine test kitchens, or food scientists spending years testing precise formulas until they reach exact perfection. The historical record shows something else entirely. If the original plans had been followed, most of these iconic items would never have reached a plate or a glass. Instead, humanity's most beloved snacks and beverages were born from distinct categories of human error. They are the direct results of sheer frustration, absent-minded forgetfulness, and desperate last-minute improvisation. Looking closely at how these specific accidents occurred forces us to rethink our definition of innovation. Meticulous planning has its place, but sometimes pure, unadulterated chaos builds a better product. In the summer of 1853, Saratoga Springs, New York was a premier destination for the wealthy. Inside Moon's Lake House, the kitchen operated under immense pressure to satisfy a demanding, high society clientele. Leading that kitchen was Chef George Crumb. During one particularly busy dinner service, a patron repeatedly rejected a plate of fried potatoes, sending them back with the exact same complaint. They were cut too thick. After the plate returned for a third time, Crumb lost his patience. Deliberately ignoring standard culinary practices, he sliced the potatoes so thin they were nearly transparent, dropped them into scorching oil until they were completely rigid, and buried them in salt. It was a malicious attempt to make the meal entirely inedible. Instead of being insulted, the patron finished the plate and ordered another. The crispy, over-salted potatoes became an immediate local sensation, and soon the restaurant's defining dish. This multi-billion-dollar global snack industry did not begin with a desire to invent. It began because an annoyed chef wanted to spite a customer and intentionally broke the rules of his own kitchen.
Decades later, on the other side of the country, yet another discovery relied on a completely different variable: the weather. A winter evening in San Francisco provided the exact conditions required for a new dessert. An 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson had mixed powdered soda and water in a glass, with a wooden stirring stick. Distracted, he left the glass on his porch overnight. The freezing temperature solidified the liquid around the stick, leaving behind a frozen, sweet treat that he would eventually patent.
A similar principle of abandonment played out inside the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan. Here, staff were actively trying to develop highly digestible, nutritious meals for recovering patients. The medical director guiding these experiments was Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, a man who strictly regulated every aspect of his patients' routines. During one experiment, Kellogg and his brother prepared a batch of boiled wheat dough, but they were abruptly called away. They left the mixture sitting out in the open air for hours, until the grain had severely dried out and staled. Unwilling to waste the food, they forced the dry wheat through heavy steel rollers, expecting a flat sheet of dough. Instead, the stale grain fractured into thousands of thin, separate flakes, which toasted perfectly into a light, crunchy breakfast food. By walking away and letting the environment alter their materials, they stumbled upon a manufacturing process that continues to dominate grocery aisles worldwide. Sometimes the environment doesn't act on the ingredients. Sometimes the ingredients simply run out. When a Massachusetts innkeeper named Ruth Wakefield found herself without baker's chocolate for her cookies, she substituted chopped pieces of a semi-sweet bar. She assumed the heat of the oven would melt the chocolate evenly through the batter. Instead, the chunks maintained their distinct shape, baking into soft pockets of chocolate and creating the most recognizable cookie recipe on the planet. A similar sudden shortage occurred amid the massive crowds of the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. Millions of visitors were touring the immense, opulent pavilions. Amidst this high volume of foot traffic, one local ice cream vendor faced an immediate crisis. His supply of glass serving bowls was completely exhausted. To keep selling, he quickly turned to the vendor operating in the adjacent booth, who was making thin, crisp waffles. By quickly rolling a warm waffle into a cone shape, they created an edible container that solved the immediate shortage, and established a new standard for serving ice cream. Beyond simple shortages, an accidental chemical mix-up can redirect history entirely. In 1886, Dr. John Stith Pemberton was working in his Atlanta pharmacy to brew a thick, sweet medicinal syrup designed to treat headaches and fatigue. The intended directions required mixing this heavy syrup with plain water, but a pharmacist behind the counter mistakenly diluted a serving using carbonated water. That one wrong tap added a sharp, crisp fizz to the liquid. The resulting beverage bypassed its medical purpose entirely, eventually selling over 1 billion servings a day. Today, billions of people consume these exact products. They are shipped across oceans, stocked in nearly every store, and deeply embedded into our daily routines. None of the individuals involved set out to design global industries. They were annoyed cooks, distracted children, and vendors trying to survive the afternoon rush. From a forgotten glass on a frozen porch to a spiteful chef slicing a potato too thin, these mundane mistakes ultimately laid the groundwork for billion-dollar economies. When a process breaks, it forces an outcome that rigorous planning would actively prevent. The error itself becomes the crucial mechanism for discovery. So when an experiment goes off track or a recipe falls apart, throwing it away might be the real mistake. Look closely at the ruin. The exact thing you never intended to make might be exactly what the world is waiting for. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden origins behind everyday history, hit that subscribe button and join Origent, because the greatest stories are the ones you never saw coming.